Welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rutan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show, where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. I've been watching this winery for quite a while. Idilico, I reviewed their Garnacha for my Thanksgiving episode. You might remember that. It was a 2014. Actually, most of the reds I found out are 2014. I thought maybe the Garnacha was just getting older, but it is, but maybe they hold back a little bit on their vintages. That could be. I've got to do my research on that one. But Idilico, owned by Javier and I think it's Shyla. It's spelled like that, which is really interesting because my daughter's name is Shyla. And I've never seen, I spell a little differently than she does. I'm curious if that's how she says it. They're a husband and wife team. They own both Pomum and Idilico wineries. So they're sister wineries. Pomum is their upper tier and Idilico is their Spanish varietals. Javier is from Ribera del Duero, Spain. I haven't met him yet, but I hope I do someday. So far, all the Idilico wines I've ran into, I've liked very much. We're going to do two blends, one from their Spanish wine style wines and one from Pomum cellars. So let's get started right away. This is a 2014 Idilico Roble, Columbia Valley. This rolls in at $17, and it is a blend of 47% Garnacha, 38% Graciano, and 15% Tempranillo, all Spanish, well-known Spanish varietals. I like Graciano, actually. I'm curious where they get their Graciano. There is the label for you. So let's give it a little rinse here. Anyway, he has, he made wine in the Ribera del Duero region. I've been there. Beautiful area. Actually, that part of Spain reminds me a lot of eastern Washington, to tell you the truth. I met up with a guy, a winery there, and I wanted to see all of Convento San Francisco, the convent of San Francisco. Really cool guy. We tasted through his wines. So I've been to the Ribera del Duero. So this is that Spanish style blend. And let's see. He just says Columbia Valley. On their Pomum site, they talk about how serious they are about getting the right fruit and the right blocks of fruit. I'm curious where they get their Graciano. That'd be interesting to see. But this is just proof, and I've tasted through several Idilico wines, how well Washington State does with many, many different varietals, including many Spanish varietals. Let's see what we get on the nose. A little bit of bark and tobacco coming through. Trying to get that. It's kind of a blackberry currant nose. It's an interesting aromatic coming through. A little bit of a red fruit component coming through. I can't quite nail it. Sometimes it's like that. It could be a little bit of cherry coming through with the plums and the blackberries and currants and cherry is what I'm getting. Red cherry. With that bark and tobacco. There's also an interesting, a little bit of a tar component coming through. On the road, they tarred the road, but not that oily crap, just tar. Not that oil crap that they put on the gravel roads. But anyway, the tar melted a little bit, and then it got cooled down. Get a little bit of that tar action. All right, let's see what we get on the palate. If you like Cab Franc, you're really going to like this wine. Has a little bit of that green tobacco action on it, which is very typical of Cab Franc. Has a little green. So a little bit of green blended with red cherries and currants, and a good shot of white pepper spice on the back end. Nice little tobacco hit on the mid palate, and that goes into the finish as well. Good balance on this wine. It does have an old world quality about it. It has that new world fruit with an old world, like that tobacco. And I am getting the cherries come through big time on the back of the finish. Finish is still going on, which is a good thing. Get that kind of bark, tobacco, red cherries on the finish. Get the currants and red cherries blended together on the front end. Maybe a little bit of, I get blackberry, just a little bit with that kind of green tobacco thing coming through up front. Yeah, that Graciano is really showing itself on this wine. I like this wine. Good balance, good structure. You know, just really nicely put together. Nice, get a little, just enough fruit to keep those New World people happy, but a nice and I'm getting a little minerality on the back end, but you got that little bit of green component coming through with the tobacco, green tobacco up front, then just goes into regular tobacco on the back side, darker fruits on the back side. Really nice little red blend. I know a lot of guys that would love this wine. In fact, I'm having a few over tonight. I would probably love it. I just want to give a shout out to my wife, Susie. She's off in London visiting her best friend, Meg. I love Meg. She's a great lady. And they're having a good time over there while I'm here taking care of things at home. So there you go. Anyway, great wine. I'm going to go straight up B+ on that. Hedging towards A-. I think it's a top-notch red blend showing off Spanish varietals. Let's move on. So Pomum is, let's see, this is their Pomum red wine, Columbia Valley, 2015. And this rolls in at $20. 48% Cabernet, 43% Cab, 32% Cab Franc, 17% or 12% Malbec, excuse me, 9% Petit Verdot, and 4% Merlot. If you're using a calculator, hopefully that came together. I forgot to show the color on that one. I'm trying to show you guys the color in the glass. I think that's kind of good to see. This is great color. Really kind of a lavender red, I guess. There you go. $20. It's interesting that their Idilico is $17, $20, both very reasonably priced red blends. Let's see what we get on the nose. Now, this has a really interesting kind of a menthol sort of cinnamon thing coming through on the nose. I get a lot of blackberry and currants with that kind of menthol. It's almost a really interesting kind of menthol thing going on the nose. You guys saying, don't say menthol one time. We got it, right? You got it. It's got menthol. A little bit of tobacco on this one as well. Let's see what we get on the palate. Solid wine. I get a feeling here that Javier likes that green element that comes through. He got it on the Graciano. He's getting it on the Cab Franc. I believe we said, how much Cab Franc did it have? 32%. So a lot of Cab Franc coming through, but it's not overwhelming. It wouldn't put you off if you're a big fruit wine drinker. You're probably not going to be too thrown off by this. The currants come through big time on the palate. See, when you throw in that little green element, it almost comes off as like an orange peel kind of tone that comes through. Tobacco big time on the backside. I mean, I'm getting like a huge amount of tobacco on the finish. Long finish, by the way, which is solid. Tannins are structured, but they're very approachable. Good acidity. I mean, this has good balance across the board, just like the its sister wine, Idilico, Spanish varietals. This is a, well, this is straight up pretty much a Bordeaux style blend. They don't do Malbec. They've replanted some Malbec there, but They're also planting some other varietals to stave off global warming. It'll be interesting to see how that turns out. There's a lot of complexity. You get that orange peel citrus, you get the currants, you get this just interesting juxtaposition of fruit flavors and other qualities. Got a little bit of minerality to it, just a touch of black pepper coming through right at the finish. Good flow across the palate, but this is interesting. This is like a ride in the mouth. It's like you're going on a really cool ride with all these turns and everything. This has a lot of those twists and turns, but they all seem to work together in harmony on the palate. That make any sense to you? Currants up front, a little bit of green that comes through as almost like an orange peel component. Morphs into what has this interesting red flower components coming through. Tobacco, all of it in pretty nice balance. I mean, this is a really interesting red blend. And I think that a lot of people would like it. This kind of crosses over into the old world sort of thing. I mean, he came from the old world winemaking, so he's incorporating that in his style of winemaking. But boy, you put this with the, well, we are going to try it. We're having, my buddies are coming over. We're going to taste through some different wines. And we will have some of this with the flank steak that I'm cooking up with blue cheese on it. I bet you this would be really perfect with that. Now, I love the finish is long with that tobacco currant thing going on the back end. I'm going to go B plus A minus on this. I think it's a solid wine. 20 bucks is a very reasonable price. Solid wines. Excited about them. Thanks for taking a little time out of your day to watch. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm getting more and more subscribers. I love it. Thank you very much for your support. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.